Hello, hello, my beautiful people. It's your Empress Mahogany, and I am back, y'all, after a long hiatus of moving, getting acclimated to a new job, going back to school. Child, you name it, I've done it, and it is not slowing down anytime soon. So I am going to be sharing today, as the title suggests, my journey and some of the surgeries that I have had leading up to another surgery that I'm getting ready to have here soon. But you're gonna have to stay tuned to find out. So make sure that you watch this video to the end, and while you're at it, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to your girl. Don't forget that hit the notification bell. All right, here we go. Let's jump into it. I've actually been planning this video for a while, but also simultaneously like nervous and dreading to make this video because there was a point where I wasn't really sure if I was going to make this video, just because I didn't want my story to be compared to another woman's story, and I didn't want for my story to be the standard for another trans woman who is going through their journey, because everyone has their own journey, and just because my story and my journey went this way doesn't mean that that has to be the way that another woman's journey goes. So anyways, I struggled with knowing if I was going to make this video or not, and I finally just decided that I would, because you know, when I was researching my surgery, going on YouTube and going on blog sites and, you know, talking to different people, there just wasn't a lot of representation of girls that look like me. So, you know, I feel like it's important that there is more of us out here talking about our stories. I know a lot of girls, they have the surgeries, and then, you know, after they've attained a certain level of passability per se, they kind of just go off the radar and they just disappear, and it's, you know, they kind of put like their transness to the background, which rightfully so. You know, I understand, like there was a point where I thought that I would be like that, and that I would just have whatever surgeries that I wanted to get done, and then I would just live my life the way that I wanted to and never talk about trans stuff again. But you know, in doing the research and seeing the representation that was out there, I really felt like I had a duty to actually tell my story and have more representation out there of women who looked like me. And so here I am. I guess we can talk about like what surgeries have I had. Let me first start off by saying, again, this was my decision, and if you decide to have surgery, it needs to be your decision, whatever surgery it is that you're having. Don't let society pressure you into feeling like you need to have the surgery. Don't let your partners pressure you into having any particular type of surgery, your family, friends, nobody. It has to be you. You have to have your mind made up that this is what you want to do, because you're going to be the one going through the recovery. You're going to be the one that has to look at yourself in the mirror every day and say, I'm happy and I think I'm beautiful. So the decision has to be yours. With me sharing my story, understand that just because this is my story doesn't mean that this has to be another person's story. This is just mine solely alone. I made the decisions. I was fine with it. I'm very happy now, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. So that's just a quick disclaimer for people who might think that, oh, just because, you know, a woman identifies with being a transgender woman doesn't mean that they have to get XYZ surgery in order to be valid. You are valid just as you are without you having anything done. So you're beautiful, you're enough, and I'm just gonna say that before I go into the surgeries that I've had done. I have been wanting to have gender confirmation surgery since like the very beginning of my transition. We're talking like 16, 17 years old, right? And I just never felt like it was going to be attainable for me. I mean, at that point, it was so much money. A lot of the insurance companies, they weren't covering surgery. You had to either pay out of pocket, or you had to go to Thailand, or you had to go, you know, somewhere else where you can be able to afford it. And, you know, I looked into getting my surgery in Thailand. My mom was not having it. She was like, no, I'm not going to have you going across the world to get this surgery and, you know, have this recovery time. Thailand, Bangkok, that was not an option for me. And so I started saving to have my surgery. And it was just such a large number that I couldn't fathom being able to save that much. And then there were other girls that were, you know, having these fundraisers for their surgery, and like they were putting like everything that they had towards their surgeries. And like, I was not. I was shopping, I was taking trips, I was doing everything with that money. I was just living my life. And so, you know, I kind of convinced myself, well, you know, if I'm not doing everything that I possibly can to save money for this surgery, like, do I really want it? Is it really for me? And so, I mean, for years, like, I just kind of went back and forth with the idea of getting the surgery, not getting the surgery, trying to be comfortable with my body as it was, and just not feeling like that I needed to have anything to be happy. So for a while, I just thought like, you know, I wouldn't get the surgery. And so I kind of just started to picture my life without that being something that happened. So, I mean, there was a point where I was considering myself a non-operative transgender woman. When people would ask me, I would tell them like, no, I'm not getting the surgery. I have no plans to get the surgery. No thanks, I'm good. And that's just what it was. That all changed after I moved to California, and I kept the same job that I had. I was working for Best Buy at the time. My insurance company changed because I changed states. So when my insurance company changed, and I remember calling in to try to get some prices and learn about my coverage, one of the representatives, she asked me like, oh, so like I see that, you know, you identify with being a transgender person. Did you have plans to have gender confirmation surgery? And so I remember laughing and telling her like, oh girl, I can't afford that. It would be nice, but I just know that I can't afford that. So, you know, I think probably not. Well, I remember her telling me like, well, you know, we cover 90%. 90%? Y'all cover 90% of surgery? After learning that information, I mean, like my whole world just opened up. I was just like, wow, like this is a possibility for me again. I mean, for several years, I had just told myself like that it just wasn't going to be for me. It's almost as if someone tells you that like your whole life, you wish that you could fly. And then somebody tells you, oh my dear, you know that you can fly, right? And you're just like, what? I can fly? Y'all, that is how I felt when this lady told me that my insurance company covered 90% of my surgery. Okay, like it started the wheels turning in my head all over again. I'm like, wow, like this is a possibility for me. So I started the process of looking for a surgeon to do my gender confirmation surgery and all of the things that go along with the preparation of before you get gender confirmation surgery. And because that's a whole other thing, y'all. I will make a separate video from this one if you're more interested in the process leading up to your surgery. I have no problem sharing my journey in that. I probably will. I know I have like some footage that I've like never like uploaded to social media or showed like anyone of some documentation just I did for myself before surgery. So if you're interested, I will do a separate video and I'll talk more in depth about that. Obviously, as you know, I did go forward with having my gender confirmation surgery. I am about almost 2 years post-op now. I'll have my 2-year anniversary, I believe April 15th-ish. And I couldn't be happier, to be honest with you. I mean, there was definitely some struggles, some challenges with my recovery process, but you know, me almost being 2 years post-op now, it's literally one of the best decisions that I've ever made, and I have so much more confidence now. I am super happy with my body, along with like, you know, having the gender confirmation surgery. I also lost like 55 pounds, and I had like a major weight loss over the past couple years. And so that, coupled with my gender confirmation surgery, I have never been more pleased and happy with staring at myself naked in the mirror. Because I mean, that's what it's all about at the end of the day, right? You have to love the person that you see when you are staring in the mirror naked with just you. Prior to me getting gender confirmation surgery, I also got a breast augmentation. This was this was during the time where I didn't think that I was gonna be able to have the gender confirmation surgery. So I was like, well, you know, if I can just get the girls done, I think I'll be happy. You know, I just felt like I needed something at that time to validate me being a transgender woman, because I had just been on hormones for over a decade at that point, and I didn't feel like I really had anything to show. Like, you know how getting like a badge of like, yes, I'm trans. And I know now, obviously, that you don't need to have any surgery in order to be respected or seen as a transgender woman or a woman. You know, you don't need to have those things. But, you know, back then, young silly girl, I felt like that I needed to do something in order to make me feel more like me. So I did go forth with the breast augmentation. I had that about, I want to say, almost like 5 years ago. Since the weight loss, I went from basically being like almost like a triple D cup to now being like closer to, I think, just like a double D. They're just so big, y'all. And I don't think that they're for me anymore. Like, I just feel like I've changed so much as a person that just, I don't know, I don't feel like they fit me anymore. So I actually do have plans to get them removed. It's gonna be happening pretty soon. I'm probably not gonna document it, you know, the whole process like leading up to that, just because there are other women that are on YouTube that are talking about their explant surgery, and you know, maybe I'll share more after it happens. But for me, I know I don't necessarily like to put my stuff out there like right when it's happening, just because there are so many different things that are going on in my mind that I just really want to focus on me. I don't want to focus on doing content and just trying to like put everything that I'm going through out there to the world while I'm going through it. It's private for me. I like to keep those things for me while I'm going through it, you know, be with my family, my friends, but it's just not for the public at that point for me. So you'll probably not see me document any major things like that in the process of them happening, just because I like to be able to 100% focus on my healing and things that entail like having these major surgeries and stuff. So now you know, those are the only 2 surgeries that I've had: gender confirmation surgery, and I did have a breast augmentation. Again, I cannot stress this enough. This is my story, this is my journey, just because this is my experience and what I went through doesn't mean that this is for everybody. And it doesn't mean that this is gonna look like your journey. Focus on you, focus on what's right for you. And if you are someone who knows a transgender person and they're interested in having surgery, forward them to me, let me know. I don't mind answering any questions that people have, as long as they are respectful. At the end of the day, I'm here to be a source of information for people who are interested in going through this journey, because at the beginning of my journey, there wasn't a lot of women who looked like me sharing their story. If you want to know any more about my surgeries that I've had, drop a comment below in the comment box. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until then, I love y'all. Be blessed. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Peace.